You're live with Dad with a phone, and I know that this is a crazy time. I just got back from a ride in the woods, and I'm gonna take you guys a ride in these woods that are behind me, PIKE National Forest. But I got back to some really just sad news. A dad died today. Here, a dad from Woodland Park, a dad with two kids. His kids are real close to my kids. His wife is real close to the family. And the one thing that I always admired about this guy is he was a lot like me in a sense that he didn't care what people thought. He just didn't give a crap. And good, bad, or indifferent, he was taken too early. It was a car accident on his way to Denver. Probably icy, snowy roads or something. I don't know the details. My wife told me when I just got back here. And I just want to send out prayers and best wishes. And if you're a praying person, then I ask that you pray for Amy and the kids. And rest in peace, Matt. You're always fun to have a discussion with, my man. I drank many and many a scotch and had discussions with this guy about all kinds of stuff. And I didn't see eye to eye with him in no way, shape, or form. But he was always fun to have a discussion with Matt. So our prayers go out to Amy and the kids. And I would ask the Dad with the Phone peeps that pray, just lift up Amy and the kids over the next few days. This one's a little different. I went for a ride in the woods before I knew about this, but it's fitting. It's fitting that I was in these woods tonight. And like I said, I didn't know about this when I went on this ride. What you're about to watch is a replay of about an hour and a half ago. I just got back in. And I think we started around 7. I started around 7 o'clock, went for a little Jeep ride in the snow-covered woods, and we'll see how it comes out. I don't know how the volume is. I don't know how it's going to sound. If it sounds crappy, then turn it off and enjoy the ride. I'm working on some stuff to do some more from inside the vehicle and more from places that I can't normally take you because I don't have cell phone service. And so I took you for a ride in the Colorado mountains today. And I'm going to share that with you now. So enjoy it. This was recorded today, just a few minutes ago. And it's a pretty ride. Snow falling, snow on the ground. We cut fresh tracks in some Jeep trails and had a good time. So here you go.
I figured I'd take you on a little ride today because I needed to get out.
Oh, the audio is going to be sucky. Suck.
I figured I'd take you on a little ride today.
It's not going to be good.
I needed to get out.
I hope I fix it. I think I might fix it. Why did it stop? Why is it stopping? Oh, this is going to suck.
Just came out of my house. I'm gonna go through the neighborhoods just if I can.
The audio sucks.
And we're gonna head up on what we call Rampart Range Road.
I should just cut the audio and talk to y'all.
Goes into the National Forest. Cruise down Rampart. I may on how deep the snow is. Yeah, I'll probably do it anyway. It's not that deep. I'm coming down.
That sucks. Oh well. I should just throw some music on.
Should be fun. Right now we're driving past Kelsey Bear's house on the right side of the road right here. They are actually selling for something right there. Stephanie Stannis has it listed. She's a state agent
It
here
sucks.
in the house.
Screw it. I don't even care. I really don't. Sorry about the audio. Y'all enjoy it. I'm out.
Why not? So it's pretty much going to be typical Colorado, especially PIKE National Forest area. It's a pretty popular area. This area of where we're headed is Rampart Range Road out of Colorado. And I spent a lot of time here. So
I'll be back in just a second to do some voiceover. I'm gonna go run inside for a second, go grab something. We'll be up in the woods in a second. I promise I'll come back and cut the audio here in just a little bit. I'm gonna let it roll without audio because it sucks. But I'll be back in just a sec.
Ton of mule deers. So, you gonna go, buddy? You gonna wait? I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. We might see some turkeys. We might see some mountain lion tracks. We'll keep our eyes out for some mountain lion tracks. If we see mountain lion tracks, we're gonna be making a phone call to the kids. Sounds good.
And we'll cut that audio. So you probably got really good audio now. Hey, I'm sorry about that. I had a little talk I did with you guys while we drove in the woods, but now I'll just chat with you just as kind of like a voiceover. So I went riding in the woods. And I even sealed up the camera a little bit better so that it doesn't shake. But so I'm just gonna let this play, and I'll just kind of talk to you guys. Yeah, I got back to some really bummer freaking news. You know, someone I've known for 10 years, someone that I've spent time with probably I haven't spent time with him in a while, but there was a number of years that we were neighbors. I lived down the street from him, and then I spent a number of years drinking, sitting down having a scotch with him about 5:30 at a local motorcycle shop, and it would be scotch hour over at the motorcycle shop here in town, and you go by and have a scotch with the head mechanic, and you might run into just about anybody in town that would stop by. And a lot of well, actually, this ride through the woods is actually pretty significant, considering what's gone down. I spent a lot of time in these woods riding motorcycles with a lot of men from around Woodland Park, a lot of locals. One of my really good friends here is one of the best woods riders, in my opinion, probably in the country, in the world. Maybe he never had the opportunities to do what some big factory boys have done on motorcycles, but at any given day in the woods, one of my best friends that introduced me, actually, he actually introduced me to the gentleman who passed away. And yeah, it's tough. He was a dad. He has 2 kids. The last few years have been pretty tough for the family. Just in relationship, him and his wife have been going through some things, and his wife is real close to my family and my kids, and his kids are close to my kids. And it's just all I know is it was a car accident on the way to Denver. I don't want to even go into the details, but it is fitting that I went on a ride and went on a 4-wheel drive ride in the PIKE National Forest today, because I've ridden motorcycles with this man in these woods, and I was introduced to a group of guys here. And see, there's so many different places you can go, right? And so many places you could go, and there's different types of people in different areas. But there is a type of people that live here in Woodland Park that moved here for one reason, or they live here for one reason, and that is these woods that we're driving through right now that you're looking at. We're about to get off the paved road and head into PIKE National Forest here, and the type of people that move here for these woods is the type of man that died today. He had a lot of dirt bikes. He was a motorhead. As a matter of fact, his children are the same age as my kids, and our kids learn how to ride motorcycles in these woods. Oh man, the freaking camera is not hanging with me here on in the woods. I think this is where I stop and try to settle it down a little bit. So when I went riding in these woods today, I didn't know I was going to get home to the news of a father passing away. But it is fitting that I went riding in these woods today, because this is where I would have been with this guy. It would have been sitting down drinking a scotch after a hard day's work, or riding motorcycles in these woods. And the gentlemen, the people the kinds of people that I haven't talked to you guys a lot about that, because it's a real tight knit group of guys who ride these woods. And we'd have church in these woods, and I'm talking about as close to God as you could ever be. I have been in these woods. Right now, we're going down a road called Rampart Range Road. It's a highway that runs on top of the ridge. So we went in at Woodland Park, Colorado. If you were to look on a map, you would find this road that runs out by the high school. It's called Rampart Range Road. You can get on that road and you can drive literally all the way to Denver on this road. I haven't ever taken you guys back in here because the service sucks. The phone service sucks. And I'm not really into doing these talk over videos, but today it is fitting that I went riding in Rampart Range, and I'm going to take you down some roads. We're going to cruise down a road called Hotel Gulch. And this is a highway we're on right now. This isn't a real, like, it's a rough road just because the washboards, which is kind of good that I cut out the audio because the washboards get bad, as you can see, but we have a good time. I slide all over the road here, and I live on the edge right here in these woods. This is my happy place. I can tell you that. I go here to disconnect. I spend a lot of time in these woods doing a lot of different things, from riding dirt bikes to hiking to hunting to filming to just going out there and forgetting about everything. I've been lost in these woods. I've been stranded in these woods. I've had to hike out of these woods in the snow. Me and Ella was a baby. Listen, Ella was a baby. She was like probably weeks old. Nikki had just had to go through surgery. It was a crazy time. And there were some kids that were stuck in these woods. And these kids got stuck in like 3 feet of snow down deep in these woods. They had a Jeep, they had winches, they had everything, but they had gone missing. A teenage group of two brothers, and me and Ella. There was a whole bunch of guys in the woods, by the way. So there was a whole 4-wheel drive team of people combing these woods for these kids. But me and Ella, we went down there looking for these kids. Well, we ended up getting stuck ourselves. Now, the good thing is we had radios and we were in contact with people, but I had to hike out a little bit to get radio service and phone service to get someone in there to help us get out. But me and Ella, I had Ella hiking down on one of these forest roads in a baby Bjorn all wrapped up. So I've been Zane, my son Zane. We would rip these woods on dirt bikes, and I was with my son. He was young, 5 years old, ripping these woods on the dirt bikes, man. And we hit a hill, and he caught neutral on his motorcycle, and he went flying past me. So if you can imagine, listen, I have the GoPro footage of this. I want to tell this story because this story blessed my heart when this happened. So Zane zips past me on his little motorcycle. He goes head over heels the handlebars into this ditch, and I'm gonna tell you, my son's no slouch. I got state championship trophies of him flat track and ice race, and I could pull these trophies down and just show you. So I don't want people to think, oh my God, you put your son in these woods. This is where his happy place is, man. This is where my son's happy place is. And we would ride the Jeep trails and the single track trails, the 4-wheel trails. There's thousands of miles of trail systems that run through Pike National Forest. And Zane was with us, and we had gone riding with a bunch of guys this day, and a bunch of other kids and stuff, a bunch of dads. And we had ridden most of the day, and then we got done, and Zane was like, Dad, I want to do one fast loop with you. I want to do one more loop with you by ourselves, because we'd kind of taken it easy. And because we had other kids with us and other families and stuff. And so we said, let's go. And we were ripping this one trail, and he caught neutral, which means like his bike slipped into neutral. And going downhill, you normally want to use your gearing to slow you down and stuff like that, where he freaked and he caught that neutral, and he zipped past me, hit a ditch, went head over heels, and he broke his arm right here in these woods. And he was 4 or 5 years old. I think he was 5 years old at the time. and I'm with him, but our car, my truck, first of all, I don't have service. There's no service in these woods. And so now I got a 5-year-old with a broke arm and 2 motorcycles, and I got to get back to my truck. And I'm at least a 35-minute round trip. Like if I haul butt, I could probably get my truck to where we were at in like 35-40 minutes. I got a 5-year-old that I'm about to leave in the middle of the woods with a broke arm to go get my truck to get him out. We got plenty of daylight. There's no threat of weather or anything like that. So I tell my son, I have a GoPro camera, and I told my son, I said, I'm going to put this GoPro camera on my helmet and I'm going to point it at you. And that way you can see how long I've been gone. And I did this because when you're in the woods alone, 5 minutes can feel like an hour, right? 10 minutes can feel like an eternity. 20 minutes can feel like you've been there forever. And so I had a thought. I said, I need to give something relative to my son so he knows that he hasn't been waiting for hours. He hasn't been waiting for his dad for hours and hours. Now I went over my son. I went over every part of his body. I did the whole medical, touched everywhere to make sure I could see where he was hurt. His arm was not physically mauled. It wasn't like a compound fracture. He was in full gear. He had what they call a buckle break when it was all over. It was a very minor break. He was back racing motorcycles in 6 weeks after this break. So it was a very minor break in the injury. He wasn't cut up. There was no broken blood, anything like that. It was a real minor thing that happened. Nevertheless, I have a kid in the middle of the woods with a broke arm, and I got to get him back. And so I set the GoPro on his helmet, and I push start, and I tell him, I say, listen, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go get the truck. And you'll know how long I've been gone because you can see the GoPro time. You can see the camera. And so don't freak out because, it's not going to, I'm only going to be gone. I'm going to be gone less than an hour. I told him, I said, it'll probably take me 30-40 minutes, but it'll be less than an hour and I'll be back here. So I take off and I go get the truck. I get back. Sure enough, I think I was gone like 35 or 40 minutes. And I get his bike loaded up. I get him in the car and we go straight to urgent care. He went straight to the urgent care with his motorcycle boots on and his motorcycle gear on. Like I said, he was in front of a specialist the day after. So he went to urgent care. They put him in a splint. He was in front of a specialist. Specialist had him in a cast. He was taken care of. I don't want anyone to freak out on me, my son breaking his arm on a dirt bike at 5 years of age. I seen him in flat track accident. One time he got in a flat track. He was in a flat track race, which is a dirt race, and he wrecked. And I freaked out because you get run over on a flat track. And I run over there, pick him up, and he's crying because his bike is mangled and he can't race the main event. So he's a tough kid. And on top of it, so we get him out of there and take him to urgent care. His arm heals up. I go back it was probably a good month or two later. I dump the GoPro video that I had pointing at him while I was gone. And at one point in the video, we're in the National Forest. At one point in the video, you can actually hear gunshots going off because people go out there and shoot their target shoot and shoot guns. Now the gunshots weren't real close to him, But imagine a 5-year-old kid in the middle of these woods, not this trail I'm driving on, but deep in these woods on single track trail or right off a rough Jeep trail, deep in there, hearing gunshots. 5-year-old just wrecked his bike. His dad just took off to get the truck, and I left him. I left him there in the woods. And I want to tell you what was on the video, and I can show you this video at some point in history, and I probably have put it online somewhere. At some point, he keeps holding his arm, and he's, like he's nursing his arm like a broke arm. But at some point in the video, he forgets about the camera. He's a 5-year-old kid in the middle of the woods, broke arm, and he forgets about the camera. And I want to tell you what happened. My son began to pray to a Father in heaven. Now listen, if you were to ask me, is my son a born again Christian? I would tell you, well, he hasn't done the steps that the church tell you have to do. But when I saw my 5-year-old literally start to pray in the middle of the woods, no one's around, he ain't thinking about a camera. He damn sure ain't thinking about his dad going back and watching this video and seeing him pray out loud to the Father, the Creator. And he called him Father. He was like, Father, touch my arm. Touch my arm, Father. Bring peace to me. That's what he said in this video. And I'm going to pull this video and y'all going to cry with me. I cried when I looked at it. But that's how special these woods are to me, because I know my son has touched the Creator in these woods. And I wasn't even going to talk about this. This isn't what I talked about on this video, by the way. So y'all are getting a better commentary for this video than I definitely did in the woods. That's how much these woods mean to me, because I've told this story before, and people, they don't tend to believe me when I talk about this stuff. And I don't need you to believe me at all. I don't need you to believe me at all. But I'm trying to take you into these woods that we are in. This is PIKE National Forest, going down Rampart Range Road. We're going to go ride through some Jeep trails here in a second, a road called Hotel Gulch Road. And these woods mean something to me. When before Ella was born, Nikki got pregnant and was pregnant for a minute, like not just pregnant and then not pregnant, but she was pregnant. We were preparing for a baby, and she had a miscarriage. And this was a later miscarriage, and she had some miscarriages even before Zane. But I didn't know, I had never opened up those chambers in my heart for my children. So I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, but when you have a child, you find something out. You like get a new chamber in your heart or your spirit or your soul for love, right? You get a new chamber. Something happens when children are born and are brought into your life. You all of a sudden have new room for new love that you didn't even know existed. And so if you haven't had kids, you'll figure that out one day. If you've had kids, this is why I can't understand the despicable things that people do to kids, because in my mind, you're messing with the system that is perfect. The family, the child, the human way of how we reproduce and carry a legacy with our children is a perfect system. So anyway, so when we had this miscarriage, we had already had Zane and Isley. And so I already knew about this chamber of love, right? That happens with children. And I had, at some point in Nikki's pregnancy, I had already opened that chamber of love for my unborn child. I didn't know this before Zane, because I didn't know what was going to happen when Zane was born. But after having 2 kids, I figured it out and was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start loving this kid, before this kid even, and it happened with Isley and it happened with Zane. I was loving Zane in the womb too, but it was something different with this one. And she had a miscarriage, and I grabbed a rather large bottle of some of the finest spirits you could find. And I went into these woods. Now, I stopped at my buddy's house before I got there because I had gone into these. I was not as prepared as I am today. As, by the way, I got a winch, come along, everything I need to survive in these woods in the back of my Jeep. I could survive in there for at least 2 or 3 days. It'd be cold as hell, but I could. So I went into, anyway, I grabbed a bottle of the finest spirits, went by my buddy's house, and I grabbed a sleeping bag because I didn't have a sleeping bag in my truck, because I was going into these woods to go get pissed off at the creator, because I knew I could find him in the woods. You know, sometimes you can't find the creator in the middle of your living room when you got dirty laundry in your bathroom or your kids are yelling in the backdrop. But if you go into the woods, you can find the creator pretty quickly. He's pretty evident. And if you take a bottle of spirits with you, you can conjure up some things pretty quickly. And I spent a night in these woods wrestling with either some demons or some angels. I don't know which one it was, but I got my ass whipped for a little bit. I did a little ass whipping, and then I woke up to a beautiful sunrise and knew that everything was going to be okay. I have said all of this crazy shit. I've invited you guys into my crazy life at this moment to tell you how special these woods are. Straight up. We're about halfway down Rampart Range Road right now in the video. We're about to cut off here in the next few minutes down a road called Hotel Gulch. It's a lot narrower. It's a lot more treacherous, and it's about to go off the west slope of this road. I actually thought this was Hotel Gulch Road right here. It's snow covered. It looks the same. And I was about to cruise up this road, and I was like, wait a minute, this ain't the right road. And so I think I whip a U-turn here in just a second. So yeah, I think I whip a U-turn here. So just to give you a little background, so there are literally thousands, probably, I think there's actually about 800. I shouldn't say thousands. There's about 800 miles of marked Jeep trails and dirt bike, four-wheeler, horseback riding, mountain bike riding, and hiking trails in this forest. There are thousands of unmarked trails in these woods, and they run all the way to Denver. Like this road that I'm on, I left out of Woodland Park. I could stay on this road and it would hit Highway 67, and I could drop right into Sedalia, Colorado. Right now, I'm cruising north on, it's Forest Road 300. It's also known as Rampart Range Road. I'm at the top of Rampart Range. So when you are cruising up and down Highway 25, going from Denver to Colorado Springs, it runs parallel with Rampart Range Road. And is it parallel or perpendicular? It's parallel. They run side by side of each other. This is like the front range. This, like, Rampart Range is the first kind of mountain hill that you run into when you go south of Denver, west of I-25, and so this is the top of the range. Now I'm turning off right now into what they call Manitou Experimental Forest. There's a yellow sign on the right hand side there that says Manitou Experimental Forest. I think this is road 346, also known as Hotel Gulch Road. And we're about to drop down. Now, what you'll notice here, and I don't know if you can see it in the picture here, but once I wipe my windshield wipers, you'll see that there's no trail. I mean, there's no tire tracks going down this road. We were the fresh cut down this little blanket of snow we had. This road goes pretty straight downhill, which is another good reason to do it in the snow this way, because you won't get stuck. It's mostly downhill. I've been stuck on this road a couple times. Me and Zane hiked out on this road one year. We were hunting down in here and got stuck in like I don't know, 3 or 4 feet of snow, and we winched out a lot. But then we got bottomed out and couldn't get out, so I had to bring in some help. But we got help. It's a fun road. It's a beautiful little drive that then drops down. And if the clouds weren't just so heavy, you could actually see mountains and stuff off into the distance. But because the clouds today and the snow was coming down, I also have hunted quite a few, 3 mountain lions off this road. So I've been with guys and started and filmed mountain lion hunts where we had seen mountain lion tracks across this road. So we started the hunt here and turned dogs loose. Some of them we caught, a couple of them they outran us and they just went. It was a beautiful drive down there today. It was so quiet and peaceful. I had my window open, and there's some beaver ponds. We're gonna cross over to some beaver ponds, or we're going to cross on the left hand side of us. There's beaver ponds coming up, and we've caught brook trout out of here. We've done some rabbit hunting up and down this road. Seen a lot of mule deer on this road. Elk hit about 4 rays. You got to start on this road, and then you got to walk about 2 miles north down some of this. You would go a little bit farther down Rampart and then hike into another little range, and then you run into some elk. But the elk try to avoid crossing this road. They'll cross, but they cross down on the creek bed, and you don't it's a little different but you can I've never run into elk on this road. I've run into a lot of deer, but not elk. Mountain lions, bobcats, seen a lot of turkeys on this road. Today I saw some deer, but I didn't see anything else. So, but it's snowy. It's snowy out. I was looking for mountain lion trails and bobcat tracks, but I like it. It's a fun little road to go down. You're going to cruise all the way down the hill. We're going to check it out. I am looking at chat now. I don't know if anybody's watching, but I am looking. I don't know if you've asked questions. I've been rambling for a minute. I got home to some crazy news. And then the audio on this thing, let me see what it sounds like here. Yeah, it sucks. I wish I had a pretty good narration going, but I'm going to fix that. I wanted to see if I could record at longer periods, and I'll fix the microphone issue, and I'll go back and do some I'm going to go back into the woods and show y'all some places that I haven't been able to take y'all with my phone because we just don't have phone service. And it's not any fun to do. I could put little highlight videos together, but it's way funner when you get to drive down in there with me. And there's a gold mine I'm going to take y'all to. A couple of gold mines that are hidden in the woods that they haven't been exploded or shut down. We can go way down in some shafts. Some crazy stuff in these woods, man. Yeah, it was a real wet snow. But there's some big flakes still coming down. But yeah, it's a pretty wet snow. It's supposed to warm up. Oh yeah, let me put a disclaimer out too, because I was saying this on the video, and I haven't said it yet. Don't ever go down a road like this unless you've been down it, because I've been down this road 100 times in the last 10 years, 12 years, and but I've been stuck. Like I said, I've been stuck on this road. I've been stranded on this road, on this actual road here. Me and Zane had to hike out one time. We done some crazy. When you do crazy stuff in the woods, you gotta be tough. You gotta be tough. So, like I said, I was pretty confident today because I knew we hadn't gotten a ton of snow. Plus, I'm going downhill right now. Plus, I'm in my Jeep. Plus, I got a winch, straps, chains. I'm about to go get lost in the woods. My birthday is April 20th, and I told Nikki I was about to disappear either on the lake or in the woods for a couple of days. So I kind of was working some things out. So maybe I will do some longer videos because I have a little option like this. I just need to fix my microphone, and then I can replay for y'all later. Y'all can go on some adventures in the woods with me. One thing I said too is how far is that from Seven Falls? This is we're up in the woods. Seven Falls is down by Colorado Springs. This is we're up on Rampart Range Road. We're actually coming down off of Rampart. I am going to what was I going to say? Dang it. My birthday. My birthday is 4/20. I am going to go out and do something. And then I'll do some videos out there because this was fun to go down in here with and be able to get at least this video. It actually came out better than I thought it would. It feels like it's recording in like slow motion, but it's just the right. It's just the perfect amount of lag for those snowflakes. It looks cool. Pretty happy with it. I love fishing Rampart too. I can't wait till they open it up. I'll definitely take y'all out on Rampart Reservoir fishing. It'll be fun. Yeah, it's been this one was I wanted to do this differently. I wanted to push play and walk away and let you guys just roll with me, but the audio came out so sucky and I had a feeling about that. And so I'm glad it is what it is. I got home to some crazy news, told y'all some crazy stories about these crazy woods right here. This is Pike National Forest. We're going down Hotel Gulch Road. We'll actually pull in and I'll show you the little Hotel Gulch cabin. I don't show it, but I drive up to it. So this is a pretty rocky downhill. I don't know if you guys can tell. The slope on the right is the same slope on the left. Like it's a downhill into the riverbed. We're going down a creek bed right now. Actually, the creek is over on the left-hand side of us, and we cross over the creek a few times in this gulch. And so it is yeah, it was I just did this spur of the moment. I was like, I gotta get out of the house. I'm gonna go for a ride in the woods. And it is what it is. If you put this up on your big screen, though, you're driving with Dad in places you ain't ever seen before. And a lot of these places are like really unknown to the general public. Like this isn't we're not a big tourist attraction up here in Woodland Park. We don't have a bunch of tourists. We're not a ski place. We don't have that. But what we do have is Pike National Forest that surrounds us. And right now in the snow, it's beautiful. In those aspen trees right there, we're going through a little aspen grove right now. In September, when the aspen leaves are bright orange, this road, I swear to you, this road will turn into the yellow brick road. It will turn gold when the leaves fall off. And they coat some of this road, and it's a beautiful place. I love it. I love it. I love the mountains. The only thing I may do is go farther west into the mountains. As long as they have internet service, if I can get a fiber line to the house, we might go farther west. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the this came out. I wish my audio would have come out a little better. But nevertheless, it was fun. If you're just joining, you got a little mix. Obviously, the video that is running right now is about an hour. It was about 7 o'clock. It was the 7 o'clock hour, so 7 to just past 8 o'clock. I went for a ride in the woods today. I got home to some crazy news. A father here today passed away in a car accident on his way to Denver. His family is close to my family. I see his wife at least once a week. His kids are close to my kids. I spent many a times actually riding motorcycles with this guy in these woods, as well as he's a crazy cat, and he would speak his mind. He would argue with me as much as I would argue with anyone, and I liked it. I liked it. He was a good dad. Loved his kids. And it just an accident, just a car accident. And I don't know much about what happened. I literally just found out when I got home. And so I kind of talk about the woods here. I kind of talk about this area in which I drive through a little bit, tell some stories about things that have happened to me in these woods. And thought you might enjoy a little outside time if you've been stuck indoors. This is the epitome of Colorado. We could be anywhere in Colorado riding Jeep trails, and they're going to be just as fun as this one, and ones like this. I might take y'all for a couple more rides over the next couple of days. I definitely am going camping. It's supposed to warm up this next week is supposed to be a warm week, which means I'm going fishing in Pueblo for multiple days because they haven't opened these other reservoirs. I have a ton of reservoirs around my house, but we got to go south where the water isn't frozen. Yeah, it was cool. It's cool that I went. It's fitting that I was out here tonight. Very fitting. Crazy stuff. Yeah, I've hit some trees. I've wrapped some quarter panels. I ain't gonna lie. I've been stuck, man. I blew up a motor in these woods. That's a whole nother story. We were trying to get where we shouldn't have been trying to get. Ended up not getting out. I got out. The motor didn't blow up till after the fact. But yeah, it's crazy. Where did the road go? Where does this road go? So this road runs. I'm moving west right now down the side of Rampart Range Road. And so I'm on a road called Hotel Gulch, and we're moving west, and we're going to run into 67, Highway 67. is the next like paved road we're going to run across. So this is kind of I don't know how many miles outside of Woodland I am right now. Let me think here. Manitou. So I'm probably 10 miles down the road here from like Woodland Park is to my left or south, about 10 miles down this range, and then about 60 miles to my right if you were to go down the road at the top that goes all the way to Denver. So yeah, that's kind of you can look it up. If you look up Hotel Gulch Road, or if you look up Rampart Range Road, these are marked Jeep trails in Pike National Forest. And as a matter of fact, these are actually I've actually done this whole road in a foot of snow in a Subaru, right? So this isn't like I'm going to take y'all to some crazy places where you're not going to go. Some of you guys think this is a crazy road. This road isn't that bad, actually. I could do it. I've done it in a rental car, I think, at one point in my life. And so I'll hit some crazy Jeep roads before the adventures with Dad with the phone are over. But this one was a good one today because of the snow. So just a good one because of the snow. It was a good one because I needed to get out of the house. Me and Nikki ran down the hill. We went and saw my buddy Pays. Got some stuff ready. Hey, I want to tell you to save the date. Not that any of you will be out of the house yet, but save the date for April 25th at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It'll be a night of live videos with Dad with the phone, with artists, with my buddy McAdoe. We'll be spinning tunes. We got a couple of live performances. We got a live art showing. So save the date, April 25th. I'll give you more info as the day gets closer, but that's going to be a fun day. This road is just a Jeep road. This is road 346, Jeep Road 346 in Pike National Forest. So I don't know, it's not an unimproved road. It's a marked forest road, Jeep road. So if you ever come to Woodland Park, I'll take you for a tour. Some of my favorite Jeep. Now we're down in the creek bed. So the creek is just to the left of us. And we're actually going to cross over the creek. You can see how close it is. We're going to cross over some ice and the creek in a few spots. Am I still in here? I'm in here. I'm live right here. You're actually in this forest behind me. Kinda. Oh, man. It's a tough one. Now that like I've done it this way and had the time to think about Matt and think about Amy, it's a tough one. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this little ride in the woods with me. Thanks for kind of bumming out with me tonight. I had kind of this idea that I would pre-record this and play it for you just because I don't like doing what I'm doing right now, but I think it's worked. I think it's worked out talking about, the forest and some things, my life a little bit. I hope you've enjoyed the ride. It's crazy. It's just a crazy day. I hope you're making it, right? I hope you're making it in quarantine. I hope you're making it in lockdown. How many bears have you ran into driving on these roads? Three, four, 3 or 4 bears, 3 or 4 mountain lions. Like I said earlier, not on this particular road, but in this forest. I've seen bears trash camps. I've come across bears chasing other animals. We've chasing mountain lions, bobcats. You can get there's in these woods alone, like big game animals. You're gonna have bear, mountain lion, mule deer, elk, bobcats. Probably missing something. You could run into a moose. You could. The moose have started to come through these woods, just the other side of the highway down in Divide. They've had moose. Um, you know, this is why I love it here. Like, this is why I live in Woodland Park. You're seeing why I live here. I can be in these woods in 5-7 minutes from my house. Like, driving quickly, I can be up in the woods, and I can be to some reservoirs in 20 minutes. I can be to some gold medal waters, fishing trout, kokanee salmon, pike, uh, in a matter of minutes. As far as hunting, fishing, outdoor life, thousands of miles of trails, horseback, mountain bike, dirt bike, ATV, your razors, your Jeeps, camping. This road here I've camped on before with the family. We have so many great camping spots. We haven't utilized it enough, right? Like, I was driving past it today and I was like, dang, I need to come camping out here with the fam again, because we go down to those beaver ponds, catch some brook trout. Right here, we're about to pull into Hotel Gulch Cabin. So this is a cabin. This is a honeymoon cabin. It's actually called the Honeymoon Cabin. Right there, you can see it on the sign. It says Hotel Gulch Honeymoon Cabin. And there's a series of these cabins. It has electricity. I don't think it has running water. It has a fireplace. You can actually rent that cabin from the National Forest, right? If you're not, I don't know what it rents for per night, but if you wanted to come and just chill out along that creek bed, the creek is actually right here. We cross over the creek. You can see it's not too bad of snow right there. It's just about an inch or two. So, okay. So listen, Shirley, you just said hell of a place. So here, this is how hell of a place it could be. This forest is open to everyone. The National Forest is probably the best public lands. In other words, you can drink, shoot, have fires, camp, walk into the middle of thousands of acres, and nobody checks an ID. You don't cross a gate. You don't have to pay a fee. If you're Chinese, German, if you're from anywhere in the world, you don't even have to be an American. Right now, I'm crossing over the creek that runs right through Hotel Gulch. So yes, National Forest lands are the craziest, not crazy, open, awesome lands. These are our lands. But they're really everybody's lands, because they don't even check your ID when you go in. I never had to go across a gate, And so national forests are really the people's land, open to everyone in the world, right? Are there bodies in these lands and in these woods? Absolutely. I have run into skeletal remains in these woods. I have come across some shady folk in these woods. There have been murders up at the top of this mountain. A guy that was linked to multiple murders, and maybe even the Delphine. Is it the Delphine case? There was a guy that was found on Mount Herman Road, which we actually passed Mount Herman Road up on the top of this ridge. He was hiding out in these woods. So, there's some that people that they thought maybe had been a part of that Delphine murder case. I don't think it ever was proven, but I know that there was a guy that was caught up on Rampart Range, Mount Herman Road, that was a part of. They were looking into for the murder of the kids that disappeared, like by the railroad tracks or something, that guy on the railroad tracks. But anyway, yes, crazy crap could happen. Okay, so to put this in perspective, I want to put this in perspective. The highway we're about to come up to, if I could cross the highway straight and keep going into the woods, and I could go all the way, listen, I could go all the way to Patrick Frazie's house without ever crossing another asphalt road. So you got to understand, I'm in the middle of Pike National Forest, and there are some highways like 67, Highway 67 runs right through Pike National Forest. But I could actually go right across the road and never touch another asphalt road again. And I could literally end up on the road that Patrick Frazie lives on. And so when they were talking about, so Patrick, these are Patrick Frazie's woods too. That's what I guess the point I'm trying to get apart is the forest runs from Woodland Park all the way to Patrick Frazie in Florissant, Colorado. And you can look on the map. This isn't some sort of like exaggeration. You can look at it on Google Earth. And I'm coming out on Highway 67, just north of Painted Rocks Road on Hotel Gulch Road. And you can follow the trail system for yourself and understand how big these woods are. Hey, if you've enjoyed this ride, would you leave me a, so check this out. The haters are losing. My reviews are going up on Facebook. So if you could go over to my Facebook page, if you haven't already, if you're one of the people that's watching this and you haven't already, go over and give me a review on Facebook. Join me on TikTok. Find me on YouTube and follow me on Twitter. If you've enjoyed the ride and you want to throw some money in the bucket, my bucket is at the bottom of the screen. And, you know, if you didn't enjoy the ride, tell me in a review on Facebook. If you don't want to throw any money in my bucket, don't worry about it. I don't need you to. I just want to give you that opportunity. Right now, we're coming out of Pike National Forest on Hotel Gulch Road. We're coming past the forest. There's some forest buildings to my right. You can see how cloudy and eerie it is. It was cloudy and eerie in the woods. I know the camera didn't show that. I hope that feeling, you can get that feeling right now, because there was this eeriness, this cloudy, eerie feeling as I was riding through the woods. It was fun. So I've enjoyed this cruise with you guys. Thanks for watching Dad with a Phone, for real, because there's a lot of things you could be watching out there. And a lot of you guys have followed me for a minute. Some of you are new. Some of you don't know what the hell's going on. You're like, I thought this dude was true crime. You never know what you're going to get with me. Now, if you wanted to hide a body, Pike National Forest has got some bodies in it. So we just hit Highway 67. We're cruising up the road. It's a little dark outside, so I think I cut this video short. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys later. I'll let this roll out. I'm out.